Everyone, it's Kerry back with you today. I'm here today to share our October freebie for our collaboration with the Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group. So I will leave links in the description box below to the group. The freebie will be exclusively available in the group for the whole month of October, and it will be available to those of you that don't use Facebook in our shop on the 1st of November. So let's get into it and I'll show you what today's freebie is. So we've got an envelope here with a sort of like a washi strip. There are a couple of tags here, a whole bunch of elements that we can use to decorate our tags, and then there's this random square here. My thought with the random square was you could actually use it as a pocket on one of these tags if you wanted to, but I'm going to use it to cut out some circles to make a closure for our envelope today. So let's begin with that. So I've already gone ahead and cut out the bits and pieces. Some of them I haven't completed cutting out. I've just left them like this because it's easier to finish it off after you've folded it. And I've got our square here that I'm going to use to make a closure for this envelope. So we'll begin with that. Okay, so I've got my envelope here, and before I score my envelope, I want to colour the inside of the flap, because once I fold this up, you'll still be able to see some of this white area, and I don't want it to be plain, so I'm just going to colour that up now. And I've just picked some bundled sage distress oxide because it's a similar sort of green to what I've got on the front of the envelope. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's going to be enough, and I'm just going to take a stamp to add a little bit of texture on the inside. I'm just going to use the same ink, so it's like a tone on tone. And I'm not really worried about whether it's perfect or not. It actually will be a little bit better if it's not, just so it's got some patterning on the inside there. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's going to be low enough for my envelope. So now I can go ahead and score my score lines, but I'm just going to give that a blast with the heat gun first to make sure it's all dry. So now I'm going to turn my envelope over, and I'm just going to score along these 4 lines of my envelope. And then I'm just going to fold my score lines up to make sure that it's folded correctly. Now, because my cutting isn't perfect, the envelope is a little bit wider than my score line, so you can see there's a little bit of white poking through there. So rather than try and refold and score everything, I'm just going to start a couple of millimeters in and angle my cut down to this corner point right here. I'll do that on both sides. So now I've trimmed those edges and I don't have that white, that little extra white bit showing anymore. So now I'm just going to go and ink around the edges of my envelope. Okay, so I've inked around my envelope and I want to make a little like a policy envelope closure for my envelope. And it's going to be easier to do this before we glue everything shut. So I'm going to take this little piece that I mentioned earlier, which is just the sort of panel, and I'm going to take my 1-inch circle punch and I'm just going to punch out 2 circles. And I've got a little scrap piece of chipboard here and I'm just going to punch out a couple of circles from this as well. And now I'm going to glue these little printed circles onto my chipboard. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of ink on these now. So I've got my two little discs here that we're going to use for the closure, and I'm just going to punch a hole in the middle of those discs. I'm just going to eyeball it, so it's probably not going to be that accurate. Not too bad. So about there and there. And I'll need a couple of eyelets. And I'm just going to grab a pen. I'm going to line up my little closure discs where I want them to be. And I'm just going to put a little mark on my envelope through that hole so that I can use my punch to make that hole. So about there. And I have to get my big bite for this one. And about there. So now I'm going to take my closure, I'm going to pop an eyelet through there, then I'm going to pop it where my hole is, just set that onto my envelope. So this one is sticking up just a little bit. I'm just going to pop that chipboard over the top and hit it with the hammer. So that's flattened that all down nice and smooth. And that one's all nice and smooth too. Now to make sure I don't have any issues with that one, because I'll be sliding things in and out of the envelope, I'm just going to pop a piece of clear tape over there and press it down, and then that way nothing can get hooked up on the edge here. So once we've done that, we just need some string for our envelope, and I've got this green twine here, so I'm just going to pop it underneath my circle and tie a knot. Snip that extra bit off. So that's our little policy closure there. Now that'll free up a little bit after I've used it once or twice. Okay, so that's that part of our envelope complete. So now I'll work on the construction of the tag, and I basically just need to score it in the middle. Then fold that in half. And I'm just going to use a glue stick to stick this together. And then I'm just going to cut the top with scissors. Got a little bit of white still showing on the other side, so I'll just trim that up a bit better. So now we've completed our bases of our envelope and our tag. It's really just a matter of using the other elements to decorate it however you like. I'm going to bring in some brown paper, this is just packaging paper, and also some cheesecloth that I have previously coloured. And I'll just put this on fast forward while I decorate this. So now I've completed decorating my little envelope there, and I've just used some cheesecloth. I did do some stitching around the edge, and this is still a little bit wet, but once the glue is completely dried, I like to go around the edge and sort of scrunch up that brown paper a little bit just to give it a bit more texture. So that's our little envelope there. So I've done the same thing there with the tag, and again, once this is dry, I'll screw that up a little bit more. So really quick and easy to decorate, and you could of course cut these as two separate tags and just back them with coffee dyed paper or some more brown packing paper or something like that. So once my tag's all dry, I can go ahead and pop it in my envelope, but we haven't glued down the edges of this yet, so I'll quickly do that. Really simple, basically just a little bit of glue on each flap. And then once that's adhered, you've got a little envelope there, you can pop your tag inside. Close it up. And that's our little mushroom envelope. So that is our October freebie for the Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group. I will leave links in the description box below to where you can find the group. But as I mentioned earlier, don't worry if you don't do Facebook, because this will be available in our shop on the 1st of November. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!